Okay, I told you this would be a low budget film, pretty cheesy and cheap. Welcome to my office. Nice that you could all be here today. Don't look too closely because you're going to find like giant dust bunnies and kids stuff laying all over the place. But you know, it's all good, right? Okay, so what are we doing today? We are looking at flipping the classroom. In other words, today's video that you're watching is going to hopefully set you up with all the materials that we would have covered in a Friday class, and then we're going to flip things out. On Monday, instead of having me lecture like this, we're going to try to launch into activities that really set your paper up for a strong finish. So here's what I'm going to, based on your notes and input that you gave me on Wednesday today in class, I'm going to give you 4 basic resources in iLearn. They're either going to be documents or PDFs or PowerPoint presentations. There's going to be 4 things, okay? So the 4 things that I'm seeing emerge as important is, first of all, what about this paper? What are you looking for? What am I looking for in this paper? And what should I know for this paper? So there's just going to be a real simple review of what the paper is going to be about and so forth. Second of all, I'm going to have a resource in there about getting started and keeping the flow. Most of you wrote that you feel like the transitions, the flow, the fluidity of your paper is where you struggle the most. And I will add that I think that that's something that sometimes we feel more than a reader sees, just as we think that sometimes we repeat ourselves more than we really do. But I think that it's a good thing to put out there. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to address this by giving you a few different types of organization strategies and techniques for better and faster writing. And with those will be some like pre-writing strategies, some things that you might want to use to rethink how you start your paper. And as several of you mentioned, I want to get done faster. I think that some of these techniques, if you have kind of a go-to mode of operation, if you have an MO for writing papers, it's going to help you for all your papers. So that's the second resource. The third resource is an MLA tutorial, just a fast fact sheets on MLA. Some of you have mentioned that especially internal citations are tricky for you. I will say this for everybody, internal citations should be used often and must go beyond quotations. In other words, obviously you cite a quote or a stat, but you also need to cite any time that you are referring to the work that you're drawing from or works that you're drawing from. So even if it's in your own words, even if you knew the idea before the author did, you need to at least credit them. You're not necessarily crediting them as much as you're saying, and he or she says so too. It's like a way of like boosting your, it's kind of like bringing all your buddies to back you up on an issue, okay? So your buddies are the essays. That's kind of cheesy, but whatever. Okay, the MLA tutorial. Then finally, the fourth resource is some grammar fast facts. What I've tried to do here is just come up with a few things that I notice on different papers, the sort of a common errors list and how to fix them. This might be kind of boring, but sometimes it bears repeating, and I don't know, I find that with some things, the first time I hear them, it clicks, and it's like, ah, but some of the things I've needed repetition on. It was, compare this to my junior year of high school taking chemistry, and I had this real battle axe teacher, I'll be honest, and her idea of like really helping students was on our lab tables she had signs that said overload, and we were supposed to wave them if she was going too fast, and if you waved them, because I did, she made fun of you. It was awesome. Anyway, chemistry was not a great experience for me my junior year in high school. Fast forward 2 years, freshman year in college, I had to have a lab science, and so I took chemistry. And would you know that it just clicked? It was like all of these gaps just filled in, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I remember her teaching that, because she was actually a good content teacher. She wasn't very personable, but she had a lot of content. All of a sudden the content made sense. I don't know if it was the repetition and the groundwork was laid for that, if it was a more relaxed class, or if it was just my 2 years more of maturity, but sometimes we need that repetition. And so I want to provide you, probably none of these things in these 4 resources are going to be absolutely brand new to you, but hopefully by repeating them and giving you some visual foundations for building on. It will help you in developing your writing. The overall point of this mini lesson is to let you go and find what you need to improve your writing for next time. So I'm going to keep this brief. That's all we have right now, and you just go find those resources in iLearn. There's 4 of them again. The one that's about what about this paper, you know, writing about writing this particular theme on media. There's going to be one about, and everybody should at least look at that one, okay? There's one about getting started and keeping going with the flow. And it's going to include a guide to strategies to reducing your time it takes for you to write, an MLA tutorial, and a grammar fast facts. So look for those 4 resources. I'm also probably going to throw up a discussion board component where you can ask each other questions or even throw out questions to me, and just kind of keep the conversation going. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Be ready to write. Do have your resources with you that you want to write with. And if you want to experiment with any of the strategies that I'm going to give you that might require some extra manipulatives, have those ready as well. I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye-bye.